What's up everybody, it's Shadow Ninja here, and welcome back to Rage Quit. And speaking of ninjas, I want to tell you guys something before we get started. Wait a second. I already said this. Because that's right, baby, we are once again going to be talking some Ninja Gaiden for today's video, specifically Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Ever since its shadow dropped on all platforms, NG2 Black has been taking up all of my time, and I've been playing nothing but these games. In fact, I even went back and I played a little bit of Razor's Edge with the remastered trilogy. I never realized how much I genuinely enjoyed these games. I played a lot of action games before, but Ninja Gaiden was one of the first I got completely lost in. But with that all being said, let's look at its newest entry with NG2 Black. If you guys didn't know, this version of the game is remastered in the Unreal Engine, completely transforming how it looks from its original release. Everything looks so polished and modern, every character gets an updated look, and the scenery in the levels is night and day from the original NG2. The older games obviously had a very plastic and artificial look, even Sigma 2, and though it had a janky charm to it, I'm glad we can finally experience this game with advanced graphical fidelity. The game also ran extremely smooth when I played it, consistent frame rates all around and not a single crash. That's pretty impressive for new releases nowadays, even when it comes to remasters. Some players might mistake this as a remake, but graphics are pretty much where the differences between old and new Ninja Gaiden 2 kind of end, because like I said in my last video, the gameplay is still pretty much the same. Even though I played it before, it took me a bit to get used to NG2 Black's methodical combat again, as opposed to the more hyper-aggressive, button-mashy fighting of Razor's Edge. It feels a lot more punishing than I remember it being. I think that all has to do with the AI of the mob enemies. The standard enemies that you come across in game, the ones that ambush you around every corner, they're really smart. They don't just stand there and take turns hitting you like in other games. They'll protect each other, sometimes even combo moves off of each other, forcing you to play smart and stay on your toes with every encounter. And there's a wide variety of enemies, stretching from simple ninjas to fiends, werewolves, and even these weird looking ghost fish. I fucking hate these things. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black also kept all the original weapons, so you can constantly switch between all these cool ornaments to fight any way that you want to. The game also has additional characters that come with their own story mode mission. I always really liked when these games let you play as other characters with their own little quirks and special abilities. Like Rachel, for example, she can use a giant warhammer for her melee, but she also has a really powerful assault rifle that turns the game into a third-person shooter at times. And then you have Momoji, who can double jump and use aerial attacks, and Ayane sucks. Like, literally, she's terrible in this game for some reason. Even though they all might not be as advanced as Ryu himself, they're still fun to play and you can even use them in the tag mission mode. I beat the game on Master Ninja difficulty, and wow, this game is ball-bustingly hard when it wants to be. I know these games have always been known for being difficult, but I had to really relearn how to play Ninja Gaiden and fighting games in general. And for the most part, it was really fun. When you eventually get the hang of the combat and you're able to clear rooms without getting hit a lot, it's really satisfying and it makes you feel like a killing machine. And the game is at its best when it's constantly challenging you with new enemies around every corner. I know there aren't as many enemies per encounter as the original, so maybe that's why it won't be considered as difficult, but man, it was really kicking my ass at times. And there was only really one reason why I struggled as much as I did, and that's the boss fights. Holy shit, some of these boss battles felt really inconsistent and straight up unfair sometimes. And I know all about hard boss fights. I've beaten all the Souls games, I suffered through pre-nerf Radahn when Elden Ring came out, and I know Ninja Gaiden is kind of a different beast when it comes to his bosses. I learned that this game, though, has dynamic boss patterns. You'll be able to dodge and punish a move, but the AI will learn from that, so you won't be able to punish that same move all the time. Genshin is a really good example of that. As his fights progress, he does different strings of attacks, forcing you to constantly switch up your playstyle, but I honestly feel like this mechanic isn't executed as well with the other bosses. There have been times where bosses like Alexei and Elizabeth would break, and they just start spamming projectiles for like 10 minutes, really dragging the fights. Dodging fireballs for 10 minutes isn't fun in any fighting game, and the input delay on controller really shows during these boss battles. That's one more bad thing I want to get into about this game. You don't really notice the input delay on lower difficulties, but when you're playing on Master Ninja, and every second counts to dodge an attack and get your punish correctly, it is beyond frustrating for you to press a button, and it doesn't respond until a second after the fact. There have been many instances where Ryu will just kind of stand there at first, so I thought it was just my controller. But you can especially tell when playing as all the girl characters. Dodges and jumps, they'll come out late, and it often feels like your movement is sticky and not responsive. I know this game is kinda old, but the devs could have at least tweaked the response time a little bit, making the game feel a little more polished, because even though the game looks modern, the controls show their age. So I guess after you beat the story mode, there's only really one thing left to do. The tag missions. Oh boy. In this mode, you can pick any of the 4 playable characters and set yourself up with an AI teammate that you can swap between in-game. You'll be faced with enemy waves that get harder as you progress. The mode used to be online supported in the original, but unfortunately for NG2 Black, you can only fight with the AI. Remember when I said that the game had smart AI? Well, this doesn't apply here because your partner will often struggle to do pretty much anything, so you'll have to constantly babysit them. Found out that Rachel performs better than the other characters, but not by much. And if you're a completionist just like me, this is going to be hell for you, because when you get to the harder stages, you'll be forced to fight multiple boss battles at the same time, all dealing Master Ninja difficulty damage to you, and all you have to help you is a broken AI bot on your side. But Mama didn't raise no bitch, so I'm going in again. Well, all in all, aside from the little gripes that I have with it, I really like Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. It keeps the charm of the original, but it looks like a next-gen adventure for new players to get into. I'm really happy this franchise is back. It's been too long, and I recommend this game to anyone who is a fan of fast-paced action hack and slashers. I'm Shadow Ninja, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be signing off. I will see you on the next one.